On behalf of the Board of Trustees, as we just met, the faculty and staff of the Academy, I welcome you to this very special event as we honor George Uhlig, and we unveil another piece of art by the very, very talented Bruce Larsen. We are celebrating our 40th anniversary as a United States Sports Academy. Actually, some 50 years ago, I had built my first sports academy in the Republic of Indonesia during the reign of President Sukarno. That's important in the history of the institution, as the majority of that faculty and staff came from Eastern Europe. They were Russians and Czechs and Hungarians and Poles and Romanians, all brought there for the Asian Games in 1962. We learned a great deal from them because they were sports scientists, which was the basis of this academy. It was 40 years ago that I brought together 5 people and asked them to serve as members of our first Board of Trustees. They included Charlie King, who was an attorney, actually worked with the Milwaukee Bucks, and served on a committee when I was the Director of Athletics at the University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee. Another member of that group was Jerry Haas, who was the head of Auxiliary Enterprises and was from finance. The third person was Bob Block, who was in marketing. He had the A&P accounts in a magnificent building that gave us the space to operate. And myself, who came from sport, but indeed the most important was the man that we honored tonight with a Distinguished Service Award, and that being Dr. George Uhlig. I know that most of you in this room know George. He, in fact, is responsible for bringing the Academy from Milwaukee, where we were founded, to Mobile and onto the campus of South Alabama, where we worked with George, of course, the faculty and staff. In fact, some of the staff from South Alabama, like Bill Gilly, are here tonight in honor of George. And of course with Dr. Fred Whitten, a man that I had great respect for. He started pretty much like the Academy in a storefront in downtown Mobile, and then built that beautiful campus out there that serves this community, the region, so very, very well. The Academy has grown in these 40 years to be the largest graduate program in the world, not only in this country, but in the world. We were founded as a master's degree. The concept there was very simple. There were thousands of people graduating with degrees in physical education, but that market was full, and there was no way to deal with modern athletics, moving people up as football coaches, etc. really was not the answer. It's all about business. It's still about business. It's really big business. If you look at one of our honorees from a year ago, the Director of Athletics at Ohio University, the budget there is $120 million a year to run sports, not to run a university or what have you. Our training programs, now our largest program, of course, is in sport management. It is to train people in the management of sport in this country, which is really an $80 billion industry. That's larger than General Motors, and we've been a part of that program, and it's been exciting for the Academy. Much of what we've been able to do is because of our initial programs done internationally. I spent a good number of years after I left the Marine Corps as a goodwill ambassador for the U.S. State Department that opened up many, many nations in the world, starting with the Kingdom of Laos in Indochina, and then on through much of Southeast Asia. We are now back in those countries developing programs like we have in some 60 countries of the world. The largest, of course, was in Saudi Arabia, where we signed an $80 billion contract some years ago that made all of what we have here in this building and in these grounds possible. Of course, we would not be here in Daphne, Alabama, if it were not for George Uhlig, a member of the founding board of trustees that brought us to this community. A major part of the Academy's activities has always been the arts. That goes back to the Greek culture of the Olympic Games, where in fact the first laurel wreaths were given to poets, writers, musicians, and indeed to the arts, and then to the athletes. We started the Academy Awards of Sport in 1984. As you can see from the medallions that are on the wall, the kinds of people that we honored through the years and will continue to honor in the years to come. Just like we will honor Dr. George Uhlig at this time. George, George is Bob Campbell, the chairman of the Board of Trustees of the United States Sports Academy. You all know him as an eminent attorney, probably the best education attorney in the United States. If you care to say a few words and get that medal, one around on Vail, that baseball player out there. It's a replica of you, know. Good. Bruce Larsen.
Thank you, Tom. It's a pleasure to be here, see all of our fans, and a lot of new friends here. I've been thinking for the last couple of weeks about what I was going to say here. I've kind of changed gears when they told me I only had 2 hours to talk. And I'll try and keep this down to an hour and a half anyway. I've forgotten what year it is. When we started the Academy up in Milwaukee, about 1972, I didn't know anybody there who would come for the presentations. And it turned out that one of my closest friends, was in the audience with us, Tom Bozanich. We got started with, I think, a tennis instruction from the fellow. I guess Ivy League, who was doing a great job teaching 6 or 7 students how to improve their instruction of the tennis program at USA. In any event, in the last 4 years, a lot of things have happened. We've grown, we've gotten a bigger influence on the world of sport, and I've developed a lot of friendships here that I'm very pleased to have. With that, I'm going to turn this back to Dr. Bozanich and move on with the program.
Thank you, George. Besides being the largest graduate program in sport education in this country, we also have what is perceived to be the largest collection of sport art. And it's due to the generosity of the sport artists of the year. This piece up in front was given to us a couple of weeks ago by O.B. Otterstedt, who is recognized by Major League Baseball as their official artist. He travels past the academy every year going to spring training and does the feature painting on Major League Baseball, the World Series, on an annual basis. This, of course, is an infamous painting of the Black Sox and a huge scandal in Chicago some years ago. You'll see up on that wall right there the newest piece that arrived from Charles Billish in Australia, a Croatian artist. It depicts the London Olympiad. It's a cityscape which he is famous for. That may be the best that he's ever done. We talked by phone the other day after that painting arrived, and that was, again, another donation to the Academy. There's that piece over there. It is from a Greek artist and throughout the entire building. The art collection, of course, is open to the public on a daily basis, and you're welcome to come in any time and see the art. Of course, part of our program, which is the Sport Artist of the Year, we have one of those here sitting to my left. Please, will you stand up, please? This is one of the most remarkable artists. You talk about creativity and art. This is the ultimate in that. He's the ultimate collector of junk. And really known as a fountain artist. We have now on the campus 6 sculptures by Bruce and hopefully many, many more. Yesterday with the work of the city of Daphne, who's been a great friend of the Academy and the staff, and of course Bruce as an artist, we erected what we call Mr. Baseball to the side of the building, directly in front of a painting by Cristobal Gavarone of Spain, a great, great artist who depicted Jackie Robinson on his 50th anniversary as his entry into Major League Baseball, breaking the color barrier. His wife, Rachel, was here on the campus a few years ago when we unveiled the medallion of Jackie that is given as a humanitarian award to people that make a contribution to sport. And that list reads like who's who. If you look at Bruce's art, and it's worth a walk to see it, Nadia, the all-around gymnast in Beijing, is on the far right. Iron Bowl trophy is alongside on the street. Over here is Michael Jordan in basketball. Of course, out in front is the first piece we had, Borisov, the great Russian sprinter who upset all Americans in Munich in '72 as he took the 100 and 200 meters. I had the privilege of serving with him on an Olympic committee out of Lausanne, where we'll meet sometime in the very near future. And of course, out here is now Mr. Baseball. If you look at the deck of Mr. Baseball, every MVP, including George, by the way, can be found in the brickwork of the base. There's 186 bricks showing the MVPs of the American League, the National League, going back to 1911. And then the piece, of course, for this dedication recognizing George and his contribution to the Academy over the last 40 years. So I invite you, and led by our friend Bruce, out to the unveiling of the statue. It's really a simple little plaque that we have there, and then you're welcome to come back in. We have a lot of food, a lot of wine, and a lot of fellowship. I do thank you for coming out for this very special event. I'll meet you at the statue.
Change.